Hello, amazing people in reproductive health across the United States and Canada. I'm Griffin Jones. We're not in Buffalo today. We're at DC at the Capitol for ASRM's advocacy workshop talking about better care for veterans, which brings us into support and access in other areas. So we're going to continue to talk about online reviews. Again, I think support and advocacy and community involvement are hugely important because if it's just about clinical treatment, then your public image is tied to whether or not that treatment is successful. And I think we can improve those odds because on this phase of the project, we took a look at how much success predicts whether or not reviews are going to be positive or negative. There's some interesting nuggets in there. This time, I decided to use Yelp as my source. I analyzed 504 reviews, 67 practices. What I thought was interesting is that there was probably 2 positive reviews for every negative review. I have that breakout in the raw data, but the idea that people are more likely to leave a review if they've had a negative experience just isn't true. However, let's take a look at when people do leave positive reviews. 60% of the time, they explicitly mention a baby or a pregnancy. Only 2% of the time in positive reviews did they mention not having a baby, that their treatment was unsuccessful. What I thought was pretty interesting was the number of people that were still in treatment, almost 15% in positive reviews. And I think that tells a different story there. When we look at negative reviews, on the other hand, it's almost a mirror. 63% of negative reviews mention leaving the clinic without a child. Now, for some, that could mean that they just were frustrated with billing and gave up. But those that didn't mention, that 20%, I could almost certainly tell that they did not have a baby or a child from their time at the clinic. But only 2% again said that they did have a baby or were successfully pregnant for these negative reviews. And so I didn't analyze 3-star reviews. It was only 5 and 4-star reviews for positive, 2 and 1 for negative, and there were far more 5-star reviews than 4 stars for the positives, far more 1 stars than 2 stars for the negatives. So again, we're seeing a lot of this polarity. You're free to draw your own conclusion on this, but this is what I see as clear as day, which is that these reviews are stories. But the story isn't actually about you. And I think a lot of times, especially when I see people responding, that the clinic or the physician, the practice manager feels that the story is about the clinic. And I really think that they're not about the clinic. They're about the person, that the clinic or the physician is a character in this story. When you take a look at the positive reviews, people are mentioning their baby or their successful pregnancy as a high point of joy. It's like the climax in the story. The conflict is over and they finally get to feel that, and they want the world to know about it. Conversely, in reading these negative reviews, you can tell that they want this frustration to be on someone else, that someone is responsible for that. And of course, that oftentimes is going to be the clinic or the physician, especially when you look at the adjectives that people use that we reviewed in earlier stages of this project. So what I want to spend the new year doing is just reverse engineering those that have so few negative reviews, because they still follow the same patterns of if you have a baby, you're more likely to leave a positive review. But for those couple dozen REs, a few clinics in the US and Canada that have large numbers of positive reviews and very few negative reviews, they're doing something where they're not being cast as the villain. They might not get to be cast as the hero for those that didn't have successful treatment, but they're not being cast as the villain, and so their online presence just looks so much better. So whether you're in that group already or you're in this group seeing the polarity of mostly positive reviews and then just some scathing negative reviews that really hurt your feelings, that don't make the practice look very good, that this should be front and center of our online marketing strategy. This social proof is hugely important because people are increasingly using them to make their decision online, and they're increasingly participating and leaving these reviews. Double-digit percentage increases every single year. So think about it. If a few more dozen of the right people see your best reviews and make that decision every year, think about how much that impacts the practice on that social proof alone. So that's what we're going to be doing in the new year. I'll probably touch base with you as we get closer to that. In the meantime, have a very Merry Christmas. I think we're wrapping up Hanukkah. Have a very happy Hanukkah. Happy holidays to all of you.